Half a day Flosstube. This is Lynette at Homesteading on the Homefront. It is Tuesday, April 10th, 2018, and this is episode 21, which means Homesteading on the Homefront is legal age. I want to welcome you all to my channel. I recently surpassed 1,500 subscribers, so thank you so much for your support and your love. It's been a great journey. So glad I decided to do the initial Flosstube. So if you're on the fence, please just do it and jump in and you'll be glad you did. Last video, I said that I wanted to be better about shoutouts, and so I made it a point to write down channels that I was watching this week. So I wanted to share some of my favorites with you. The first is Lisa Fall, and the second is Lisa Clark. Both of them are relatively new to Flosstube, so go check them out. I will link their channels below. The third newbie to Flosstube is Cindy Young, and again, I'll link her below. Go check her out. Dixie Sampler had, I think it was video number 3 up. So if you haven't watched her, I encourage you to do so, especially if you like the Prim look. Dixie is the administrator for the Prim Stitcher Society group on Facebook. That was the group that got me back into stitching in about 2012-ish. So go give her a look. And finally, Heather Moore, who is not at all new to Facebook, but she is new to me. Enjoyed her video. I think she's on like number, I don't know, 23 or something ridiculous like that. So I'm going to have to go back and binge watch from the beginning, which is great because I love binge watching people. And I thought I was past that stage. I thought I had binge watched everyone there was to watch. So Heather is redoing her kitchen in the farm theme. So yeah. Kindred spirit. So if you haven't watched her, go check her out as well. All right. Again, last video, I had some giveaways. So I want to pick winners right now. First up is the lighthouse. And I was going to do the search like Bendy Stitchy does and a random comment generator, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So it's just the old-fashioned way. So I'm going to pick somebody. And the winner is Liz Piazza. Liz Piazza, send me a message and I will mail the lighthouse off to you. And then the second one is the potting shed. 2 of Little One's stitching friends also wanted the chance to win this, so their names are in here as well. So we will pick them the old-fashioned way, and the winner is Eliana. Guess what? Okay, so I don't have to ask for your address because I know where you live. 2 more giveaways. Like I said, I'm like cleaning out stash and wanting to get rid of some of these things. So first one we have is Our Home. This is meant to be done on a 14 count Aida. Again, no Aida, but it does have all the floss, and it is a 5x7 finish, so it'll fit into a standard size frame. So if you're interested in that, just say, I want to stitch Our Home. And then the second one is this adorable teddy. I've seen him on eBay going for some money. It's a 10 by 12 inch finish, so this is a big one. Again, no Aida. It is meant for 14 count, but all of the threads are here. So if you would like to stitch the teddy, just say, I would like to stitch the bear, or I would like to stitch the teddy. He's adorable. He reminds me of the Boyd's bears that we all know and love. Okay, same rules apply. If you're not over 18, you need your parents' permission to enter so that I can get your address. Don't say giveaway. You know the drill. All right, so on to finishes. I did have one this week. Let me find something to put in back of it. This is well loved. It's falling apart. You can see that some of the numbers are starred. Yeah, those are the 3700s. And they're starred because they were the new numbers when this came out. So I keep thinking I need to get myself an updated one, but this works for now. Anyway, that was a rabbit trail. This is my first finish. This is from the 2010 Just Cross Stitch ornament. It's a blackbird design. And I did it all using Victorian sampler threads. So you can see there's some nice variegation in there. I did change the design a little. I like symmetry, and it was not a symmetrical design. There was a crow here and some other snowflakes here or whatever. So I changed that up, but I like how it came out. And then my other finish, which I hesitate to call it a finish because I need to add the beads. I'm waiting for them to come in. I placed an order for them. But this is one of the Brooks Books bride ornaments. And I loved this pine cone when I first saw it. And then I saw that she had, I don't know if this is still the case, but when I purchased them, the whole series was 50% off. So I figured that maybe if I start stitching them now in 10 years when we have brides needing ornaments, maybe this series will be done. So again, I used DMC for some of this, and I used Victorian sampler for, I know the brown was definitely Victorian sampler needlework, but I think it's going to be beautiful when the beads are on. So I can't wait to finish that up. So that's it for finishes or semi-finishes. And then I only have my one whip. Last week I was debating which I would start, and it came down to the fact that I just wanted this one to be done so I could deliver it. I do need to say this. Stacy, if you are watching, you need to just fast forward a few minutes. So this is the original red chair sampler from Scarlet House. And I told you I was going to make some changes to it. And the reason I was going to make changes to it is because I wanted it to be a companion piece to this one. I had showed this a while back. This was a stitch along that my best friend and I did. So there are the two stitchers sitting and stitching. And so I wanted to use the colors from this sampler. And I wanted to stitch a different verse. So let's see here. This is what I have so far. So as you can see, the colors are completely different. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors in the sampler. Red, blue, greens, and browns, basically. So I changed that up to match the other, and I'm stitching a verse down here. Now I had all the math done out. Right, see how this says 32 count? I don't know if you can see that. It says 32 count. I got a good portion of the border stitched, and I was looking at it, and I dug the ruler out, and I realized that it was not 32 count, it's 28 count. Hazards of buying lots on eBay. You can't trust what they're labeled. So anyway, basically what that meant that I had to do, because again, you know me, this has to fit into a standard frame, and I was going for an 8x10. So it still will fit an 8x10 frame. I just had to take out a repetition of the border here on this side and a repetition of the border here. So basically what that means is I have less stitches to work with. And because it means I have less stitches to work with, I had to stitch the wording over one. And when I do the row up here that says, I'm going to change it a little from Tanya's original, but it's going to say something like, come sit with me, my dearest friend, we'll stitch together till the end. Well, that top, I should have done more math, but it's only going to come to about here. And so I hemmed and hawed with, do I rip all of this out and center it? Because I like things to be centered. I didn't like the fact that all of the writing was going to be over here. So I'm also a lazy stitcher, and I really didn't want to rip it out, especially since it was over one. So what I've decided is I'm going to do the wording, and then I'll do some sort of little flower, and then I'm going to sign it over here with my initials and the date. So there will be writing across the entire piece. And then I'll put a little border here, and I'll fill in with some motifs here, and we should be good to go. So this one shouldn't take that much longer. I've already got the wording charted, and I haven't decided if I'm going to fill in using motifs. I hate that word. Using ones from this sampler, or if I'm going to incorporate some of them from this sampler so that it's more obvious that they're companion pieces. But I figured I'd do like the girls did who were originally stitching the samplers, and kind of play it by ear and wing it. So that's it for my stitching. So now I want to talk to you about my Maynia plans, because I know everyone's talking about Maynia and getting ready for Maynia, and normally, you know this about me, I tend to be a monogamous stitcher. I get very stressed out if I have too many projects to work on, and by too many, 3 or more stresses me out. I can handle a medium-sized project and a small project, or a large project and a small project. So I can handle that stress-wise. You add a third whip in there, and I want them done. So originally I thought, okay, I can find 18 Christmas ornaments, because those would be easy. You start one from May 1st to May 18th, then you spend the rest of the month finishing, and by the time that the end of the month comes, a lot of those are finished, and the ones that are left can be finished in a day or two. No problem. Well, I looked at the calendar, and I decided that my May is going to be Maynia enough. Basically, the first couple of weeks are, the schedule is full of school band concerts, and a friend of mine's husband is retiring, so I've got that ceremony. I've got going away lunch for friends who are leaving the island, trying to get the kids finishing their schoolwork that's due. So yeah, that's going to be stressful enough. But then on May 14th, the movers come. Now, as far as moving goes, we have it pretty easy. We have to take the pictures off the walls. We have to unplug electrical things from the walls. Usually we'll take the light bulbs out of our lamps and clear out from under the beds. And then the movers come in and they pack everything up. So my job during that time is easy because I get to sit on the couch and stitch, right? However, before the movers get here, we need to figure out what is coming with us on the plane, Because we're moving on orders, we each get 5 pieces of luggage, which sounds like a lot. And if you're on a 2-week vacation, it is a lot. However, when you're moving and you have absolutely no idea when you're going to see the rest of your household goods, it's not a lot. So we have to decide what's coming with us in our suitcases. Then we have to decide what the movers are packing up to take with them, or to, our household goods. At minimum, it's going to take, I think my husband said 45 days to get our household goods from here to the States. However, that assumes we have a place to unload them once they arrive. And that's not going to happen because we have to get to the States and go house hunting and find a house and go through the inspection process and the, negotiations and the whole 9 yards, and then close on it. And so if we're lucky, we may be in the house before school starts the end of August. I don't know. We're fortunate in that we'll be staying with my parents in the meantime. So it's not like we're not going to have a roof over our head, but we can't say for sure when we're going to get our stuff. So anything that we need for an indefinite period of time needs to be in our luggage. Or the other option is we can send it in an unaccompanied baggage shipment. And basically what that is the pots and the pans and the towels and the stuff that you need last minute. So the girls and I are leaving here May 19th. My husband will be here until July. So everything he needs to live on from May to July will go in that shipment. That will also take 45 days to get to the States, but we can take delivery of it because it's not going to be all that much stuff. Like I said, pots and pans and knives and towels, and I am going to also include all of the cross-stitch pieces that I want to enter into our fair, because we will take delivery of that shipment the middle of August, and then the fair is Labor Day weekend. So anything that I want in the fair has to go into that express shipment. So we have to decide all of that. That was a long story, sorry. All of that to say, I need to take my cross stitch with me so that I have stuff to stitch. And I need to take stuff already kitted up so that I'm not buying duplicate threads and I don't have to buy more fabric because I have a ton of linen. So I have been busy while everyone else has been kitting up their Maynia stuff. I have just been kitting stuff up to get me through the summer and possibly a good part of the fall. So I thought what I would do is go through what I've kitted up, show you what I have planned. If you see something in this pile that I'm going to show you that you also have in your stash and you would like to do a stitch along, then just shout me out and say, hey, let's work on this one. Let's start it on such and such a date. Because literally I have no schedule. After I'm done this, I don't know what I'm working on. Who knows? So if you see something and you have it and you want to do a stitch along, let me know. The first one I'm going to show you is an old Chessie and Me. And I know it's old because, I don't know if you can see that, it says February of '98 on there. So this is the Daily Labors, and it's an actual photograph. So it's all kitted up. It says, the daily labors of the bee awake my soul to industry. And I know this isn't going to be a pillow. It's probably going to go in a square frame. But I've got that all kitted up in a bee bag. And that will be ready if I want it. Another thing I've got kitted up And I don't have any finishes here to show you. In here are all of the barnyard, prairie schooler barnyard animals, and also my quilt designs. So I'm using all of the same colors for them. So maybe I can finally catch up and stitch my quilt squares. Another project that had to be done. You've all seen it. Whose fault is this? Linda Jo? Lori at Mischievous Stitches? Like, there's a bunch of you doing this. But this is Sally Spencer. Striped Rose? I think Michelle at Striped Rose is doing it. And I didn't have the fancy floss. And it calls for Brethren Blue. And I just heard the other day, where did I hear it? Oh, maybe it was Linda Jo. She was interviewing the shop owner, Acorns and Threads, and she said that they're not making Brethren Blue right now because there was a change in their dye supplier or whatever, and it uses black, which is a problem right now. So anyway, I pulled the DMC for this. It was horrifying. Like, I wouldn't ever stitch those colors together. So I didn't know what to do. And then I was like, maybe I can just completely change the colors, which I did. I wrote down some, oh, I can't show you the pattern. I wrote down some suggestions to completely change the colors, but then I keep seeing you guys stitching it, and I think maybe I need to do the called for colors and just, I don't know, find a replacement for Brethren Blue. I don't know. If any of you have Brethren Blue and can suggest like a Crescent Colorworks substitution for it, let me know. Okay, so Sally Spencer. And this is in the very first bag I made. This is a Vanna bag. Another one that I kitted up, and I know, again, several of you have shown this in your videos. This one, I've never stitched a Quaker before, and I've always loved them. And every single time I saw this one on blogs or on Instagram or on stitching shops, like, it just caught my eye. And so finally I decided to break down and buy it. I think I might actually do this one as a memorial to my third great grandmother, because there are places to put initials, and so I thought I would put the initials of all of her children. But anyway, like I said, I know there are those of you who have this, so if you want to sell it, let me know. I'm all on board with that. The next one has all of the Little House Needleworks Farmhouse Christmas fabric and flosses. I was on auto ship and I canceled that because I figured with the move it was going to be too crazy. I don't know what's up with my PayPal, but it doesn't email me when somebody invoices me, so I have to physically go to the PayPal site and see if the invoice is there. I've tried to fix it and I can't figure it out. But anyway, so I figured between not being able to like check on a daily basis because I'm going to be so busy, I would just put it on pause, and when things calm down, I can order the charts that I want. So anyway, this is coming with me. Another one I'm doing, I think I've showed this to you before. I'm changing the words on it, but this is My Big Toe. Better to Dwell is the name of it. And I love the colors, but I'm changing the Bible verse. So this, it shouldn't take me that long because you know how quick letters go. And that was my goal with projects that I'm taking with me. So basically what happens, and I know this because we've spent the past couple of summers at home with my parents, is my body is not used to the sunshine early in the morning, because here on Guam the sun does not rise until 6:30 or 7 o'clock every morning, and that's all year round. Like, there's very little change in daylight hours here because we're so close to the equator. So between being jet lagged and having early morning sunshine, I am up at the crack of dawn, which means I get tired at night. And so once the kids are in bed, that's usually my stitching time. However, the light at my parents' house isn't that great. And so for the past couple of summers, that would be my reading time. I would just read before bed, and I flew through books. But I am going to take a headlamp and one of my hook-on lights with me so that hopefully I can stitch at night, even though the lighting's not great. But I didn't want like full coverage, in-depth pieces, because I knew I would be stitching at night, and my brain gets tired. So the theme for all of these is that they're going to be easier, simple, quick pieces. The next one is this one. Cindy is responsible for this one. She showed it to me, and I went on eBay, and lo and behold, the exact magazine was up for auction, and I bought it. So this will be quick and easy. I think I'm going to do it in the same colors as I'm doing the Barnyard Christmas ones in. I may or may not include the Good Morning. I don't know. I showed this one to you last week, the Nevi needle. This one, Vana showed. Vana's doing a bee wall. And I'm on board with the bee wall because I want one myself. This is the Good Housewife in the Bee Man's Garden. And I believe it was this one was sent to me. I mentioned the Prim Stitcher Society page. And so somebody had stitched it, and I commented on how I would love to stitch this because I'm a beekeeper, but the prices, you know, that the Good Housewife patterns were going for at the time were ridiculous. And she said, I'm going to send it to you. You're a beekeeper. I want you to have it. So I figured it's time that I stitch it up. Look at it, came from In Stitches in Canton, Ohio. $7 the original price. So that's one that I will get to at some point. These are some Christmas ornaments out of the December 2017 issue of Just Cross Stitch. And they're very Scandinavian, and they only have a couple colors, so I figured they would be good to do. This one I have not seen, I don't know, maybe one person I've seen stitching it, and I don't remember who that was. But this is called Poinsettias and Pines from Blue Ribbon Designs. And so you know me, which means I'm going to be changing this so that it will fit into a standard size frame. And I'm also going to be changing the wording a little to make it a little more me. Right now it says, the smell of pine, the crackling fire, all the snow one could desire, hot cocoa with marshmallows, cookies in the kitchen, treasure the gifts that winter has given. And so I originally bought this thinking that it would be a fair piece because the special contest this year, the special theme is Winter Wonderland. So if I can get it done, it might go into the fair. If not, I definitely will be bringing the Snowy Village, and I think that counts as a Winter Wonderland. And then my final two that I've got packed up, right? Because we are all going to do this one. there's so many of you that have said you're going to join us, which makes me very happy. So that's Labor Day weekend.